The standard Big Bang theory, the old-fashioned Big Bang theory, says the universe began in a singularity 14 billion years ago. Now, what is the singularity? The singularity, in a short one-sentence description, is a supernatural being that created the universe out of nothing. Let me expand on that. Supernatural literally means outside of nature. Nature is something that's in space and time. Everything in this office, you and me, are in space and time. The singularity is outside of space and outside of time. It's an intrinsically infinite body, infinite entity, which is not subject to any laws of physics. Rather, the singularity creates space-time. It determines exactly what the universe will be like, that the space-time will be the entity on which reality is played, and also it creates the laws and the initial conditions which govern things in the universe. Outside of the universe, which is created by the singularity and the singularity itself, there is nothing. No space, no time, no matter, no nothing.
Very interesting and scientific way to describe the emptiness. That is what I got from this part of this clip, which Professor Frank is describing the singularity. And I could see how scientific theories are converging with Buddha's teaching. So I'm going to tag along with that and then explain this dependent origination process that was discovered by Buddha 2600 years ago and is being tested and proven by so many practitioners. With similar experience of mine, I'm going to decrypt or the explain about this the theory of singularity in Buddha's term. So bear with me. I'll try to give a most practical aspect of these theories in Buddha's term. I'll start with the olden theory of that Big Bang theory, which started with singularity, as Professor Frank mentioned there. So, in this case, what we are talking about here is actually this whole universe is created through this singularity, or the singularity cause Big Bang, and it's expanding and expanding throughout 14 billion years. So, the other part of this discussion is that really this singularity created this universe. So it's again what it means is that really there is a creator who actually make this happen. That's what even Professor Frank is talking about as like a supernatural being did this thing, and then it's now keep on expanding. This is the place that where I want to decrypt because it's not a creation in my mind and with my experience. It is not a creation. Actually, it is happening as I mentioned on my previous episode. So there I mentioned the dependent origination is a cause and effect process which is occurring every time, all the time, everywhere, every millisecond. So, to me, when we talked about this Big Bang and then it was created by this singularity, I would say there is no creation there, but it is just happening because of this cause and effect. So, you might ask the question, So how it has been happening, how this cause and effect really started. So Buddha has given that very precisely. It started because of our thirst or our clinging or our craving, or individually we have that craving with us. That craving, that very subtler level longing, is the starting point of dependent origination. So I would say that Big Bang that we are referring in the scientific world is the dependent origination occurring every millisecond. So that's, we conceptualize as a Big Bang, and we think that reality is expanding all the way. And then on the motion point of view, that is true, it's expanding as long as we keep on allowing this dependent originations to occur. But bear in mind that occurrence is happening within you as well. That means with your craving, with your longing to see this universe or be alone with this universe, that your desire to be in this universe, it's occurring. So if you have listened to my previous episodes, you would see that I was connecting the gravitational force as our own thirst or the longing or the clingingness within us. So that makes this whole universe, and in fact, that whole universe is perceived by us, by individually, not by everybody else separately. But it is actually individually what you see or what you perceive, what you touch, what you sense, all that is your universe. That is how this universe is been occurring every millisecond. And that occurring starts, or the that happens, cause and effect. The cause, the original or the very rudimentary cause or the rudimentary link of this dependent origination is that ignorance. Ignorance of what? The ignorance of not knowing that we are clinging to this universe by our own desire, or of our own subtler level thirst to be cling to this whole universe. If you can let go of that, as Buddha mentioned, you will be liberated. You will be free from this chaos of universe. Here, this universe is what we perceive. So we could call it universe, we could call it it's our world, or we could call it ourself. So if we go with that theory, the our universe or the our world or our self is more similar to that Big Bang, and the cause for that, or the it's been created by the singularity. But now I want to convert that to the Buddha's term, that this self or the world or the universe was created through that our ignorance. That means not knowing that we are cling to this universe uh, with our desire or with our clinging. But in that case, the singularity that Professor Frank was talking about is the non-self in Buddha's term. That means there is no self there. So that non-self did not create this universe. The universe was created by ourselves individually, in fact, because we individual are the ones who perceive in this whole universe or your whole world or even your own image is being created through that dependent origination. So there is a separation. So something is existing because of this dependent origination, and the other part of it is, of course, non-existence or the non-self, which is totally different, and it's separate. So there is no creator, but it's actually there is the process with cause and effect. or the dependent origination. Origination occurring every millisecond in this world, which is happening whether you are there or whether you are not there. It's happening. But as long as you are clinging to that, you can see all this universe and then this world, like, you are looking at you are actually seeing a dream. You are in a dream. You are inside the dream because of that clingingness. So that clingingness or that particular desire or that thirst need to be let go of. So if you let go of that thirst, you will transcend into this singularity. I would call it that as non-self, which is totally different from the universe. According to even Professor Frank, he was explaining that it's a totally different, but actually that supernatural being is the one who created. But there is no being. In fact, actually, there is nothing there. And when Professor Frank was talking about its nothingness, that means there's nothing there. So there is no creator, no supernatural being there. It's empty. That is what Buddha explained in that emptiness discourse, which is Anatta Lakkana Sutra, where that really there is nothing in there. So once you liberate it, or once you transcend into this enlightenment or the nirvana, that means you let go of that you're craving and let go of this whole universe that you perceive all this time and become that singularity. I'll put it that way. So this is the explanation, and this is the very clear uh, connection I can see, and then very best way to explain to the scientific world what Buddha has taught as non-self or the emptiness and the dependent origination. Here I am converging those scientific theories with Buddha's teaching. In other words, I am closing the gap between the scientific theories and Buddha's discovery with my first hand experience. To recap with other episodes, I would start with that Loka Sutra, which is the cosmos discourse given by Buddha, where he mentioned that six senses created this whole universe. In other words, that really, since we are perceiving through this our six senses, we grasp our whole universe. And then, if you can let go of those grasping, you will become, or you will liberate, or you will become that singularity, like Professor Frank was talking about. And on the Aganda Sutra, Buddha mentioned that again, that clingingness, because of that clingingness, we connect with this humanity, or then we actually started craving for so many things. And finally, we came up with this whole divisions everywhere, and then the created this unrest in this world. So again, that the main point is that really our urge or our craving, our uh, clingingness is the cause for this whole thing. So if I go to further detail level that Buddha mentioned on the dependent origination, all these 12 links that he mentioned starts with that first link of uh, ignorance, which is that not knowing that we are clinging to this whole universe. So if you let go of all that, you would be liberated and you will be in the place where that non-self. Now, if I convert that to the Professor Frank's word, the place there is no time, no space, or no matter. So, which is the emptiness, which is the nirvana that Buddha has mentioned. I hope this discussion is very valuable for you. And if you have any comments, you can make that down below. Or if you have any questions, you can ask there. I'll try to respond to them promptly, or else I will take them as a talking point for the next episode.